Hey everyone, Pras Murthy here, CFO and co-founder at Dr. Multimedia, doing another installment in our marketing jam sessions. You may notice the new background. We decided to try some new things out, shoot a little earlier in the day and make use of having our staff around, so we hope you enjoy that. And in case this is the first time you're tuning in, the point of these is to take online marketing techniques and topics from around the world, kind of whatever the latest is in digital marketing, and bring that to our doctors, our practice managers, our non-clients if you're watching, and really shoot to simplify the topics and make them relevant and useful for you. Because a lot of times what the marketing world is talking about isn't quite ready to actually be implemented in your practice, and we want to bridge the gap there. So that'll be the topic today, is just a couple of interesting things that are going on around the world and at Dr. Multimedia, and we hope you guys enjoy. So one exciting new development here at Dr. Multimedia is we've launched an audio podcast. We're officially calling it Practice Growth with Pras. It was inspired by these marketing jam sessions where we really dig deep into digital marketing topics. And of course, we're delivering this to you via video. And a lot of our clients receive these in our daily emails. So if you're not on our email list, please make sure to contact us. Let us know that you do want to be receiving these regular emails. We're doing about twice a week these days. Just 1 to 2 minute videos explaining the topic. And of course, if you want to learn more, you can always check out the full versions on YouTube. And before we dive into that, please be sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel. If you go ahead and do that, you'll receive notifications anytime new videos come out, whether they're short, long, or even a lot of other fun things that we put out there. But the point of the audio podcast is actually to dive deeper into the idea of practice growth. I've heard some people say that marketing and practice growth are the same thing. I think there's a lot of overlap there, but there's obviously some unique aspects of each. And we wanted to have a separate forum where we could really address ideas and topics and questions and challenges when it comes to growing your practice. Obviously, digital marketing is a huge aspect of that, but there are a lot of other important parts in terms of how you run your business. Now, we actually just filmed the first 2 episodes of the podcast in the last 7 days, and there were a couple topics that came out of that conversation that I did actually want to bring over to the marketing jam sessions. If you've been with us from the beginning, you know that these kind of started as like 20-minute instructional style videos where we had the Jamboard out and we were doing a lot of fun topics there. Then we kind of brought that down to about 10 minutes, and then we realized actually the best way to serve this content is to split those up into much smaller videos and email them out to our clients. So odds are you're watching this because you received an email with a short link to it, and we found that those 1 to 2 minute topics were really what got the conversation started. And of course, in every one of those emails, we invite you to schedule a call with us and our marketing specialist to go over your account. No pressure. It doesn't have to be sales oriented in any way. It can be to review what you've been doing. It can be to talk about what more you could be doing. But the idea is that more and more in digital marketing, there are things that your practice simply has to do. And this is true for practice growth in general. There are more things that you have to take on in-house. The world is changing in a sense that you can't just outsource all of these items. You could have an outside company running your Instagram page, never going to be as good as if you have people in the walls contributing to what that Instagram page is going to look like. And we want to certainly establish that connection with our clients, have these regular phone calls. Some of you have been making tremendous use of them, have already done a couple. And I know that they're valuable because if nothing else, they force you to sit down and confront this idea of digital marketing and what you're doing in-house to make use of a company like Dr. Multimedia. Hiring us is the most important step, but then making sure you're using us and our services correctly, very, very important, follow-up because of how quickly things change. What worked a year ago might not work 6 months from now, and you want to make sure you're keeping up. And we're, of course, doing everything we can to support you. So the idea of profit, the idea of growing your practice, the idea of revenue can all be kind of sensitive topics for some of our doctors because as medical professionals, you're kind of trained to be above that, or at least this used to be how things are. I think the newer doctors that are graduating and starting their own practice has really embraced this. But, that's not the typical client for us. A typical client for us is going to be somewhere between 35 and 55. And having owned a practice or recently acquired a practice after working as an associate. And so it can be really hard to get out of that mentality. So as I mentioned, a lot of times this concept of money, profit, revenue, making decisions that will lead to more of those things is kind of viewed as a negative. But ultimately, if your goals are to benefit your community and treat your patients, provide a quality of life for your staff, as well as the people that come see you, there's one thing that's going to drive that, and it's being able to keep the doors open, and it's being able to expand the reach that you have. You know, you don't have to look at profit always just monetarily. You don't have to look at growth just in dollars and cents. If your practice can see more people this year than it could last year, that's a form of growth. If you can provide better medicine this year than you could last year, that's a form of growth. And ultimately, you know, I'd say 98% of the time, the things that will allow you to do that have costs. There are price tags to equipment. You have to pay payroll. You have to grow your staff in order to keep up with patient demand. And the one common factor, you know, that when it comes to being able to grow your business is usually revenue and profit. And, you know, profit doesn't have to be money that you withdraw from the business and put in your personal bank account. I think that a lot of non-business owners kind of think of profit in that way. Profit can be the money that you are able to then reinvest into your practice or into your staff, into patient care, and will help you grow and expand your practice. So it's the concept of, are you thinking and acting like a business owner, which is no small task if you didn't want to be a business owner, or if you just woke up one day and you owned a business, or you took over the business from the previous person that was running it. You know, you now have all this administrative work, managerial work, accounting, taxes, right? The list goes on, and oftentimes this is more grief than anything for our doctors, and we're here to help. You know, that's one of the reasons for the podcast, but also it's one of the reasons for marketing. It's one of the reasons for digital marketing and a website and social media. You know, all of these things are great in and of themselves, but the end purpose is to help you grow your practice by attracting new clients and patients and getting more out of the patients and clients that you have, and actually running your business, you know, more efficiently. So acting and operating as a business owner is going to lead you down a different path. And if you do that, or at least if you're aware of that, and you start to make decisions with that in mind, day after day, week after week, month after month, the path that will set you down over the course of a year or 2 years or 3 years will put your business and your practice in an entirely different stratosphere than someone who was just making the decisions with the micro and the practice owning and being resistant to staff, or not wanting to have difficult conversations, or not wanting to create conflict. The practices won't even resemble each other. And usually one's going to be thriving and growing, and the other one's going to be struggling to stay afloat, or even possibly closing the doors down. We've just seen it time after time. So I was speaking to a practice last week that had initially signed up with us and gone through the decision-making process of building a new website, and they were just ready to launch. And they ultimately decided not to switch websites. They didn't want to cancel their old company, fine. The practice manager is who we were dealing with. They didn't really see the huge differences or the benefits that we offer, which, as you guys know, are owning your website, the custom design, the customer support, etc. But just looking at the two websites, they weren't convinced that they were different enough to go through the hassle of making the switch. You know, I obviously got on the phone, I did my best to explain the situation, kind of made the case that I'm doing now, and I got to the point where I honestly believed that they were just making a mistake for their own well-being, and I was happy to take the loss. So I asked the practice manager, you know, hey, I understand everything you're saying. Just out of curiosity, you know, if I could do this for free, if I basically was willing to bring you guys on and not charge you anything, or charge you a couple bucks just to host the website, would you be interested? And she quickly shot me down, and she said no, which I'm used to, but it took me aback because she was looking at it from the practice owner standpoint. Saving the business a couple of dollars, or $100, $150, wasn't worth it to her to have to go through the hassle of switching websites and learning a new system and all the things that go along with that. But that's such a short-sighted and micro, you know, look at it. And of course, since then, I'm just trying to contact the business owner and say, hey, if that's your decision, I respect it, no problem. I wish you guys the best of luck. But I think you should know that your practice owner is making decisions that I think a business owner should be making, because if a business owner is given the opportunity for a better product at not just less cost, but no cost, I mean, I would literally be saving that practice $5,000 a year. Now, she might not care because she's not going to see any difference in that, and all she can see is the amount of work involved, but the business owner might care and know that that money could be used somewhere else that will actually grow or scale the business, and at the very least, hey, a better product at a lower price, that usually wins out. But I was taking it one step further because myself as a business owner, I understand that. I'm looking to get that stamp of approval from them and say, hey, if you're thinking about this as a business owner, do you want to do this or not? Because people are making decisions on your behalf, and I don't believe that they're thinking about it from a business owner standpoint. Now, that's just one small decision out of all the decisions that are being made. And so many doctors will say, well, I just put my practice manager in charge of that. That's great. Put them in charge of executing it. Put them in charge of the day-to-day. But make sure you're not giving away decision-making power that should be from a business owner standpoint. Or, I know a lot of wonderful office managers, make sure they have the business's best interest at heart and are able to see beyond themselves and their staff and say, hey, would this be good for the business long term? Is there a benefit here? Is there a reason why we should go through this? If you have that great of an office manager, you can disregard what I'm saying, but those are few and far between, and it has to be someone you really, really trust, not just someone who has experience with these kinds of things. So, actionable advice: sit down with the people in charge. Ask them to review the decisions. Don't shy away from things because it's more complicated for you, right? You're busy, you're seeing patients, you don't have time for all of this, no problem. Compartmentalize it in the way that you can. Do a 5 or 10 minute marketing meeting each day, or do a 30-minute marketing meeting once a week or once a month. Have all your vendors on that call. Be able to interact individually with the businesses that you pay and the office manager that's making decisions with that business that you pay. You might be really surprised what you find out. And then, as I said, if you start to train yourself to think of the business owner, you might realize that you disagree with a lot of what's being done. And as a business owner, you would never let a staff member or an employee unilaterally make decisions that are going to affect the future of your business without at least being aware of them and offering approval or suggestions or insight or experience. But a lot of doctors kind of let all of that slide, and then they wonder why they have the growth that they have or why they're topping out where they are and don't seem to be able to get to the next level. So I hope that was helpful. It's going to be a recurring theme on our end, which is a lot about mindset. If you're paying attention these days online, a lot of people are talking about mindset in a lot of different areas, because it is true. The way that you train yourself and the way you train your decision-making process will lead to real life change, not all at once, but slowly over time. And we are on a mission right now to make sure that our doctors or practice managers that own the practice, that are practice owners, start to think and act like business owners, and we're here to help you every step of the way. So if you have any questions, please reach out to us, drmultimedia.com, of course. You can follow us on Instagram at drmultimedia. Check out all these videos on YouTube. They're going to be a lot of the training that you're going to need to do what I'm talking about. And then, of course, if you like the topic and the direction that we've been on today, follow at Practice Growth Pras on Instagram, and stay tuned for those podcasts called Practice Growth with Pras, where we'll dive not just into my opinion, but the opinions of really successful doctors and other experts around the country, and share that with you, our clients, so that you can help grow your practices. So once again, guys, thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the earlier start time and the new scenery. And until next time, thanks for watching.